These are few questions that can really help you in your next Salesforce interview. So let's get started with our first interview question, which states that on class level, we have specified seeAllData equals to true, and along with that, one of the functions we have specified with seeAllData equals to false. So will the function see data directly from the or from the setup data? So basically, when we write a test class, this is a question from the test class. Okay, if you are going to write it in the test class, if you write see all data equals to true, then the data will be directly accessed from the org itself. Okay, so we have specified that on the class level. Okay, so directly on the class level, this is my test class. Okay, directly on the class level, I have specified see all data equals to true, whereas I have a function as well which has seeAllData equals to false. So as you can see, I have one function which has seeAllData equals to false. So the question is, now if I write anything within this function, will it try to access the Salesforce orgs data, or will it just try to access the setup data? So right now I have not created a setup method, so let me create a test setup method, and I'll say public static void, let's say setup method, right? And then I'm going to create some record inside it. Let's say I'm going to create an account inside it, right? And let's create an insert ACC. So if I try to click on save right now, actually the issue is that if you have your class with see all data equals to true, or even a method with see all data equals to true, you cannot have a setup method itself. Okay, so if you have seAllData equals to true, you cannot have setup method, and the reason is because, of course, at the class level itself you have specified seAllData equals to true. This means the whole class will directly access the data from the org, and there is no concept of setup method at all in this case, because of course you cannot directly create the setup method itself. So it's very common that it's going to go and access the data directly from the org, even though we have specified seAllData equals to false. Okay, so the answer to this question is that if this is the condition, this method, even though if it is specified as seAllData equals to false, will directly access the data from your Salesforce org, and the reason for that is because I just cannot have the setup method itself, right? So I cannot create the record for my Salesforce test class, and thus it will directly access the data from the org itself. Let's move on to our next question. But before moving to our next question, I would like to announce you guys that I have just recently completed one of my interview masterclass, and I'm going to start my next session or the next batch from 29th September 2025. And if you guys are interested to be part of it, which is a very amazing batch, and you will learn everything in a very deep concepts, everything will be very deep, everything will be scrutinized, every topic will be scrutinized. So if you want to be the part of it, you can click the link in the description, you can fill up the form so I can reach out to you, because our class is going to start from 29th September 2025. Let's move on to our next question that we had, is that is setup method governor limit shared with the other test methods? Okay, so let me remove this first of all. Let me control Z it first. Yeah, I will remove see all data equals to true, and this as well. I don't need it now. Now the question simply states that the setup methods governor limits. So the governor limits inside the setup method and the test class, are they shared? Okay, are they shared? That's the question. Okay, so what I will do is I will try to write a for loop for integer I equals to 0, I is less than or equal to, let's say, 120, or let's say I will do 70, I plus plus. Okay, so I will do account acc equals to select id comma name from account limit 1. So basically in the setup method I have already consumed 70 queries. Okay, I have already consumed the 70 queries. Now if this setup method and my test method, okay, let me write at the rate is test first. Yeah, if my test method is going to share the resources with it, okay, so for sure I will just have 30 limits left over here. Okay, so let's try to do it. Okay, I will go beyond 30 so that I can find out. Okay, I will just go, let's say 50 for now. Okay, just to find out whether I will get the error or not. Okay, so in setup method I'm trying to consume 70. Okay, if they both share the resources, I can only go till 30. Okay, if I'm going beyond 30, okay, it should throw me an error over here. Okay, so let's try to run this test class. Okay, I'm getting a log. Okay, I don't have any account. Okay, I did not create any account itself. So let me create an account. ACC equals to new account, acc.name equals to test, insert acc. Okay, so I've created an account over here. Okay, let's try to run it now. Okay, insert has failed. Okay, my bad. Let me run it again. I think so. I have some validation rules written on account. Let me go to account. Okay, now let's retry it. Still the insert is failing, and the insert is failing due to, okay, random text field. Okay, let me add some value to it. Random text field. And I will add acc2 over here. And let's try to run it now. It should surely run now. Okay, let's run it. And as we can see, okay, as you can surely see that the setup method, okay, it has consumed 70 queries, and I was just trying to query 50 over here. Okay, I was not doing more. So I'm getting specifically an error, that is 101 SQL error. So this means, as I have consumed already 70 over here and the governor limits are shared, I can go only till 30. So if I just go, let's say 25, I should most probably not get any error at all. Okay, because I'm just consuming 95 in total then. Okay, now I'm not getting any error. Okay, so this makes sure that the governor limits between the setup method and the test methods are usually shared. Okay, this same kind of concept we are actually going to cover into our interview masterclass. Okay, so this is the same kind of concepts, like in more and more deeper versions we try to cover this in our interview masterclass. Okay, so let's move on to our next question, which states that I have written a validation rule which states that account industry cannot be an agriculture. Okay, so I have written a validation which states that account industry cannot be agriculture. Now I want to write a test class for the same. How shall we do it? Okay, so simply states that, see, I already have written a validation inside the trigger that if account industry is agriculture, throw me an error. Okay, but my tech lead has asked me that go ahead and write the test class for the same. How will I write it? Because if I just go, okay, let me remove all this stuff. Of course, this is happening in before update. So if I try to query the account over here inside our test class, account acc equals to select id comma name from comma industry from account limit 1. Okay, I'll query the account, and just to cover this specific trigger, okay, what I will try to do is I will try to make acc dot industry equals to, I will make it as agriculture, and I'll say update acc. Okay, now just to cover the specific part of the test class, let's try to run it and let's see what happens. Okay, actually the test class is failing. Let's go to this. Okay, and it says that there's a custom validation that industry cannot be agriculture. So see, just to cover this test class, I tried to create the same scenario and I'm getting an error and my test class is failing, which is not as expected, right? You want to make sure that your test classes passes. So in the scenario where you're getting any error and you want to cover that part of the test class, you can still do it by using a try catch block. Okay, so instead over here I will use a try. I will update over here and catch the exception ex. Okay, I'm not going to print anything over here, but if you do this way, and if you have any validation returns in the trigger and you want to cover it using test classes, you can use try catch block to cover that specific part. So even though if you get the error, it will go to the catch and it will be handled gracefully. Okay, so if I click over here, see, the coverage is 100% and it did not get any error. Test is also passed. Okay, so if this kind of situation arises, you can surely go with try catch block. Let's move on to our last question, which states that how many setup methods can one task test class have? Okay, so I have a test class. Let's try to create another test setup method. Can I do it? Let's see it. Okay, so I'm already getting an error. Okay, stating that you can only have. Okay, let me rename it. Okay, I'm getting an error that one test method can only have one test setup method. You cannot have multiple test setup methods. Okay, so you can only have one test setup method. So answer to this question is that you can only have one test setup method, okay, not multiple. So this is what I had to cover in this specific video. If you found this video helpful, I request you to please like this video and do subscribe to my channel.